Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, they're not dead yet. Yankees with a comeback, thrilling 9-6 win, coming back from a 6-1 deficit where the Yankees looked absolutely dead. Rendon looked dead. The Yankees with a thrilling win, and Aaron Judge, after hearing criticism from Game 1, and really hearing a lot of criticism as he hasn't hit a big home run yet for the Yankees in the postseason. Well, hits probably the biggest you can imagine there. Saves the Yankees season, and again, extends them for one more day. The Yankees will take this to a Game 4 with Cam Schlittler on the mound there. Gotta like your chances for Game 4 if the Yankees at least take this back to Toronto. But first thing first, you have this Game 4 here. So we'll look back at the thrilling Game 3, all the big moments. Of course, preview Game 4, where right now Toronto isn't even giving you a starting pitcher yet. So you kind of like the Yankees' chances in that. And, of course, sprinkle some other stuff there. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Section 420 Talkin Yankees, a podcast wherever you get your favorite podcast. And there's also a YouTube version of the show. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So the Yankees, we know the whole deal there up in Toronto, got absolutely mauled. Toronto scored 23 runs in the two games, and this game didn't start off, any better there. Guerrero already in the first inning off of Rendon, hit a 2-run home run, and this Rendon does not look comfortable at all. I mean, we've seen him fired up. You remember the game last year, against Kansas City? He was working fast, throwing the ball, throwing strikes, almost like give me the ball back and throw it right in. This game, I don't know, something was wrong with him. He was laboring. He was just moseying around the mound there a little bit, and just got a sense something was wrong with him. I just kind of had a feeling he was not going to last long in this game. The body language was bad. And again, right there, smack dead, right in the first inning, they gives up a 2-run home run to Vladdy there. And Rendon, another flat start from a Yankee starter in this series there, and that's just something the Yankees going to have to figure out. Hopefully Cam Schlittler is able to sort of right that ship there. But again, you look at all three Yankee starters, Luis Gil, Max Fried, Rendon, all of them not giving the Yankees much at all, and Rendon not even able to last 3 innings, had to leave a game to score to 6-1, and really just figured that was it for the Yankees. I mean, just the way this Toronto team was just clicking there, and you figured they had no fight in them, and you figure how you're going to pitch the rest of the game there. And the Yankees able to chip away a little bit, brought the score up 6-3 there. And then in the fourth inning was the big moment for Aaron Judge. Now, it all kind of started off with a bit of a fluke. Austin Wells with a little pop-up to right field. And, the winds were swirling around Yankee Stadium a little before the game. And I guess maybe Toronto, they're not actually used to that. Looked like, the high pop-up, lost track of the ball there. Hit off his glove, dunked in as the Yankees get a break. So you got Austin Wells there at second base. And then Trent Grisham works the walk there, so you have a man on first and second. They had a left-hander in. They took him out. Obviously not going to have the lefty face Aaron Judge in that spot. And they bring out the hard thrower, Luis Volin, who we know he could get up there to 100 miles per hour. And then remember Game 1 with the bases loaded. He blew away Stanton on 100 mile per hour gas there. And that's what Judge was up against in an 0-2 count. And I didn't understand this with Volin. I mean, I'm not saying the pitch he threw to Judge was terrible, but he was ahead of Judge 0-2. I mean, the second strike there was a swing and miss. So it looks like Judge is way behind in that. Now, if you're Volin, throw one in the dirt, throw one outside, throw one high, get Judge a chase. He throws a pitch inside. Again, it wasn't terrible. I mean, you have to, I guess, credit Judge's swing, but it's almost like an excuse me. Judge really pulled his hands in there and able to just muscle the ball just enough. And it's a sort of a moonshot there. It wasn't a long home run, but a moonshot, and just hit the foul pole. Qualifies for a home run, 3-run home run, ties the game, 6-6 there. And again, the Yankees, with just maybe an hour before that, looked like they were absolutely dead back, basically able to pack their bags for the rest of the season there, but brings them back to the life. And then Jazz extends the leads with a home run of his own off of Volin. Line drive shot into right field, pulls the Yankees ahead at that point, 7-6. And the Yankees will tack on a couple of runs from the game there. And you got to give also credit to the Yankee bullpen in this game, able to sort of piece it together. Now, Aaron Boone probably, remember the flack he got from Game 2 there when he went with Will Warren instead of Fernando Cruz to get out of the jam. You figure this time Boone goes to Fernando Cruz, gets out of that particular jam there, and just pieces the bullpen the rest of the way. Obviously, you saw a little Fernando Cruz, a little Camilo Doval, Tim Hill, who got the Yankees over the 5th inning hump and actually earned the win there. Devin Williams actually looked good, gave the Yankees an inning plus there, and going betting off for the multi-inning save there situation. And the last out, a good diving play there by Cabrera at third base. So, yes, the Yankees got gifted a little bit with that, pop-up that dropped in there. But again, Aaron Judge coming up huge, clutch home run. And again, he's probably been hearing it since Game 1 there, that big choke, that big swing and miss against Gausman with the bases loaded there. And again, Judge coming through this time to silence all those critics, having his big moment. And Judge also flashing some leather in right field. A couple of good diving plays as well. Early on, even before that, it was caught in a rundown at between third and home there. Actually, ran back and forth enough, just give Bellinger enough time to slide into third base. Now Bellinger would later score. Again, that was kind of before the 3-run home run there. So Judge getting it all done, intentionally walked, multiple hit game there. So great game, Judge, an iconic game, and probably one of the better postseason Yankee games that you can remember in recent history there. Just get to the point where you're looking down the barrel there in the third inning, you're down 6-1, you figure that's it. And for the team to come back like that, show some life finally after, really up to that point, the first 2 games and then the first 2 innings of this game, the Yankees looking absolutely lifeless, nothing from the offense, and it looks like this Toronto was just clocking the Yankees around, finally able to stabilize with the Yankee bullpen, the quiet the Toronto bats, and finally this time the Yankee bats able to come to life there and give themselves one more game, and that'll be game 4 on Wednesday night. And as I mentioned before, right now at that point, Toronto hasn't named the starter for this game, so this could be a bullpen type situation, and this is why you're kind of kicking yourself in, right where you are right now. We know you Savage threw a great game in game 2 there, kind of weren't expecting much there, but the Toronto starting staff, this was supposed to be a weakness where really tomorrow for the Yankees should have been a closing game, but I guess they're going to go with Cam Schlittler on that one and try to have to close it out in Toronto game 5. Now, I want to get too ahead of myself because I would not be fully confident in that game because the Yankees have been absolutely awful in Toronto. But you like to see that the bats finally came alive. We saw that a little by the end of game 2. I know they scored 7 runs, and I know a lot of that was in garbage time, but the bats got going a little bit, and now we finally saw the bats going in this game. Not only Aaron Judge, but you can see some other guys like Trent Grisham finally getting a couple of hits. He's been quiet up to this point. Jazz with a home run himself. So again, it looks like the offense is finally waking up a little bit. So maybe that's something again you could carry into game 4, and if you could tie the series up, bring that up into game 5. So the Yankees, again, with a thrilling win. Again, the Yankees' odds with taking game 4 now. Cam Schlittler, can't expect him to duplicate what he did game 3 against Boston last week there. 8 shutout innings, 12 strikeouts. You're probably not going to get that Cam Schlittler, but again, give the Yankees something close. It looks like this offense has woken up a little bit there. So again, Schlittler doesn't have to be, throw a shutout there, but again, if you just keep the Toronto bats at bay, and I think he would. Remember those regular season starters, probably the worst start of, I guess his brief career up here in the majors. Now they found that afterwards that maybe he was tipping his pitches, and that's where he kind of held his glove a little bit there to hide the ball. And again, since he's been good, so hopefully he's learned from his mistakes from that last time he's faced Toronto there, and obviously he owes them one. And as for Aaron Judge, he's had some other big home runs and big other moments there, but this home run that really literally saved the season, that's pretty big as it gets. So at least now he's bought himself some time. So the next time he's up in a position like that, it doesn't feel like he has to come through as much. Because again, for a while there, the thing about it, like, well, yeah, he does great in the regular season. He hits all these home runs in the regular season, but what does he do in this playoff? Now, statistically wise, even before that home run, I mean, he was getting his hits. In fact, even in this game, he did have a single there in the bottom of the first inning. So he's been getting singles, but he hasn't been hitting the big home runs. He hasn't been getting the big fly. Stanton as well, and Stanton also with an RBI in this game as well. You want to get his bat going. Obviously, Stanton not looking nearly as good as postseason Stanton last year there, but at least, this is good to see Stanton got a couple of hits in the game too, and again getting an RBI also in this game. But of course, the big man Judge also getting off the ground. Only real bad news at the plate there was Anthony Volpe, who was just absolutely terrible. 3 strikeouts in the ground out there in his last game. At least in the last series against Boston, at least look a little bit more competent so far. But again, not the case out in this game. Took almost got a golden sombrero there, but finally making a ground out. Not to say Cabrera will take his time or something like that, but again, you'd like to get a little bit more at him at the bottom of the lineup there, just so if you could turn it over, you get a couple of guys on. When Judge, of course, when he's batting second there, has a few guys on base to do some damage, where, as you see, when he has a couple guys on base pads there, you got an opportunity to put a big crooked number on the scoreboard, and he did that. So that's the game 3 in the books. Again, so Yankees live to play another day. And Judge, of course, kind of giving those critics sometimes is quiet down a little bit about him not coming through in the postseason. Again, I don't think he'd get a bigger home run at that. So good moment for him. Again, not only doing it at the plate, but also in the field, flashing the leather as well. And again, if you're a Yankee and Yankee fan, you got this new breath of life into you. Again, I hope the Yankees finally have a performance where, not fall behind Toronto, because you can't expect to keep having comebacks like that. Again, in all these games, the Yankees have been falling behind, and then pretty much, again, it gets too deep for them to even make a comeback. This time coming back from a 5-run deficit, which is not easy, but again, it was an early deficit, and the Yankees chipped away a little. Again, got it from 6-1 to 6-3, and then Judge able to tie it on the big fly, and then from there, able to add a couple extra insurance runs for that. And kind of finally see, maybe just for the first time, Guerrero, who was very cocky first 2 games, which you can't blame him. The guy's rocking home runs and grand slams all over the place. Has a home run earlier this game. Seemed just a little trepid, a little intimidated a little bit. Just finally, maybe took a little sparkle out of his eye a little bit, because obviously they've been all riding high in the first 3 games and the first 3 innings of this game. There, figure this looked like a cakewalk for them. So now finally, maybe a little reality comes to them. Then they'll be a little bit intimidated against a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. So this game, Yankees live to play another day. We'll take a game 4. You like your chances from that, and that would bring a game 5 to Toronto. But we don't get too ahead of ourselves. So we'll catch you next time.